Now, the government is being urged to pilot a relocation scheme that would help to pay for unemployed people to move house once they've been offered a job. The proposal, which comes from a think tank founded by the Work and Pensions Secretary Ian Duncan-Smith, would pay for the removal costs of people who would otherwise be forced to commute long distances to get to work. We can go to our central London studio and talk to Christian Guy, who is director of the Centre for Social Justice, the think tank which is putting that idea forward. Thank you for joining us. So tell us more about it then, why you think it, what you're proposing initially, actually.
Well, what we're proposing is that people could be given the help they might need with the start-up costs of a move. So whether that's a removal van, help with the deposit, furnishing an apartment, fees, all of that gets caught up in the move. We've heard around the country that those things can stop people who are unemployed but want work elsewhere from taking that decision to move. So if they can't travel there within a reasonable distance, we think if they want to move further afield to take a job, we could do more as a country to give them that support early on.
Sounds like it could be quite expensive.
Not really, because we've earmarked a pot of money that already exists. There's 180 million that councils have to give discretionary payments to people in relation to their housing. Now, some of that is going to people to help them through the welfare reform changes, but a lot of it's not being spent, and only 7% of it's going on relocation costs at the moment. So we think there's a pot of money there that's not being used that we would say is the place to begin. And we're only talking hundreds of pounds perhaps for people, not thousands, but it shouldn't be any additional cost to the taxpayer.
It's interesting that you ended with there shouldn't be any additional cost to the taxpayer, because I was going to say some people might just say, well, why should the taxpayer out for this? You know, if someone's got a job, it's in their interest to move. That still holds true wherever the money's coming from, doesn't it? Yes,
but otherwise at the moment a lot of people are being paid to not work, a lot of benefits going out to people who want that chance to move but perhaps don't have that start-up cost available. So at the moment a lot of young people are relying on the bank of mum and dad to get the deposit or to meet the cost of a move. And we think people who don't have that network of support, initially the state, to the tune of a few £100s, would be worth investing in them if it gets them off benefits into work and into a new part of the country or region that they may then start for them and their family to move on out of social housing. So there's an upfront investment, but we think it would return in big ways, and we've seen it happening around the country in small scale examples, and we think it could do a lot if we took it nationwide. How much do you think this is a factor in somebody maybe not taking up a job? I mean, how much of a difference do you think it could potentially make? Well, I think we've been quite surprised at just how important this might be. There are other factors, of course, too, the nature of the work, the fact that it might be an upheaval for your family, that the benefit system at the moment doesn't do all it can to help you if you want to work. So there are other factors, but several housing providers around the country have said we're doing this and it's starting to make a difference, and lots of tenants have told us that actually a few £100s can be the difference between moving and not moving. So we shouldn't assume that this kind of money doesn't matter. We've been fairly surprised ourselves, but there is a demand for this and we think it could make a difference. Christian Guy from the Centre for Social Justice think tank, thank you.